In addition, the use of color suggests a haphazard melange of clashing styles.
Hello, welcome to Star Trek Sodium. This week I've dredged up some quite fantastic facts, all about Star Trek The Next Generation's Season 3 episode, A Matter of Perspective, which is episode number 14. A Matter of Perspective has the Enterprise team taking part in a legal battle as Riker is wrongly accused of blowing up a space station in the pursuit of lusty revenge. One of Star Trek's famous court case episodes, this story was inspired by a real-life court case in Idaho in 1988, when a young man supposedly accidentally exploded his mother-in-law's house by mistake. One major difference is that he drove away from the incident, as matter transporters like the one that Riker uses didn't exist in 1980s America. Instead, he just sped off like a lemon chimney in his popular saloon car, as innocent as a jet-black chicken, getting some distance between himself and the house before it exploded into a million billion bits. The story of this episode struck real close to home with Gates McSomething. 6 years to the day after this episode's production, she would reportedly be caught in an explosion herself, which would burn off her trousers as she walked home from her favourite boutique. This soapy episode is commonly known as A Matter of Perspective, but did you know that there were other episode titles on the table that just didn't get selected? Other names that the episode nearly had include A Matter of Honor, A Matter of Explosion, A Matter Transporter, Star Mystery, Stacy, The Betrayal, A Betrayal of Matter, and The Betrayal of Space Matter Emergency. The name that they picked finally was A Matter of Perspective, and that is the same as the one that this episode has for its name. As production for Star Trek VI, The Unforgiven Country, was really ramping up at the time, many of the actors and crew from the movie were sharing the production space with The Next Generation at this time. William Shatner was once again lurking around the studio floor and was endlessly caught bragging about the court case episode that he was in, The Menagerie. He possibly kept telling everyone who'd listen that his episode was the best legal drama episode, and that A Matter of Perspective was completely awful, like a big sloshing bag of saliva. Rumour has it that the Crusher actor, Wheaton, had found out about the homeless that was living in the set. The homeless had made his home behind one of the panels at the rear of the bridge set, and up until now only Lever Burton and the data robot actor, Spiner, knew he was there, supplying the poor fellow with food and booze. Wheaton discovered this when he tripped over an old blanket that was sticking out from underneath the panel that hadn't been replaced properly. Knowing what a tease the Crusher actor could be, Lever Burton urged Wheaton not to cause trouble and, more importantly, not to tell his friend Corey Feldman, who would no doubt be straight over to kick the shit out of the poor homeless. In the studio next to the Star Trek studio is where they were filming the popular detective drama Columbo. While shooting A Matter of Perspective, the Columbo studio was transformed into a spider farm for the filming of the episode, which was about a killer that ran a spider farm. This caused arachnophobic Marina Citrus to allegedly succumb to fear, a fear that was realised for real when a giant tank of hideous spiders was spilled by mistake just outside the door of the Star Trek studio, which was left open for a couple of hours. Nobody noticed, while hundreds of the awful creatures marched in and made themselves at home on the Star Trek set. Most of the production staff had a real blast while making a matter of perspective, but someone wasn't quite so lucky. Young producer Andrew Mudwwind was supposedly on his way to the Star Trek studio when his speeding car hit a coyote at 150 miles an hour, splashing the coastal highway with bad guts and ugly gore chunks. The innocent young producer then mistakenly drove off the cliff as he couldn't see out of his red-stained window. He was later washed up on the beach, completely dead, in Malibu, where he was luckily discovered by Marine lifeguard Armin Shimmerman, who was also a Star Trek actor. Armin Shimmerman could barely recognize the blue bloated face of the speeding Andrew Mudwwind. This would have a silver lining, though, as it turned out, as when Armin Shimmerman called Rick Berman to tell him that he'd found the dead producer, Rick would offer him another small part in an upcoming episode. Andrew might be completely dead, but Armin got the work. Insane Paramount bosses suggested a crossover between Star Trek The Next Generation and children's cartoon Sharky and George, Crime Busters of the Sea. Luckily it didn't go ahead, as a crossover with a non-Star Trek cartoon would surely be disastrous. The closest that would ever come to this being a reality was when a show called Strange New Worlds, that masquerades as Star Trek, did a crossover with a cartoon that pretends to be Star Trek. It's insanity gone mad, it really is. Thanks for listening to my super in-depth facts all about the episode A Matter of Perspective. I hope you found these production details insightful and ultimately in tune with your well-being. Thanks ever so much. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff, and let me know which fact you really didn't know the most. And if you know any facts about this episode, please indulge me with your sensual words. Thanks ever so much, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ta!